Hey guys, this is Anime Ballsy here, and today we are going to be doing the fourth part to What If Bardock Was Like Dr. GERO. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jit. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Bardock flies right off the lookout with the humans as well. They will play a pivotal role in protecting the androids and just keeping them as far away from Cell as humanly possible. In the skies though, Tien has a question. Can you turn me into an android? Now Bardock wasn't really expecting this question. He can, not at the same level as the androids Dr. GERO creates, but he can. Yes, why do you want that? Bardock asks him. Well, I feel like I can't even put up a fight if I'm not strong enough. It's like I can't even protect myself. I have an attack. And I feel like if I'm stronger, it could hurt those androids and Cell. Bardock isn't too sure on that claim, but he hears conviction and sincerity in the man's voice. There's no reason to doubt him. He's always been aware of the human's wits and techniques. Fine, it won't be me that does it for you. There'll be a bot swarm that will take you to my lab. Listen to what they say and the procedure should begin. Tien nods to him and then slows down in flight. The others hear what he was saying and do think for themselves. However, the two are reluctant to get it done. It's a no from them, but they're already on their way to Cell and the others. There isn't enough time for them to make a proper choice. I'm sure that if the humans were given more time to think over this choice, they would say yes. Tien follows this swarm and arrives in Bardock's massive complex lab. Now that it's totally underground, it looks insane to see. The walls are carved in this gleaming, pristine metal and everywhere is illuminated in a pure white lighting. Even with so much equipment around, the area is surprisingly ordered and easy to walk through. Place yourself in this chamber. Temperatures will decrease drastically and with the thinness of the air you will lose consciousness. Do not fret. Once you awake, the procedure will be done and you won't feel a thing. Okay, I wasn't worried about the pain anyway, Tien states, hopping right in. With this procedure there are a few options. We can go for more strength, but that could take a significant amount of time. From your request, it felt like you wanted to get right back into the battle as quickly as possible. The process can be made swifter, but the multiplier to your strength will only be in the hundreds and not the thousands and beyond, the bot explains. Tien lifts his eyebrows upon hearing how strong this could make him. Just how smart is Kakarot's father? Of course, just go with the quickest one, he replies. Okay, good luck Tien. I wish you the best with this process, the bot announces, before slowly backing away. Next, Tien can see his vision getting blurry but notices this cloud of steam filling up the chamber. The chamber door fully shuts and locks, and that's the last thing he perceives before he passes out. Symbol stands ahead of Cell, arrogant but annoyed. I mean, after defeating him back in Ginger Town, he isn't scared here at all. Cell can't sense Symbol's keys in the chip since he's just an android, but after absorbing so many humans, his confidence has skyrocketed. Just get out of here, all of you, Symbol shouts back. Why should we listen to you? Android 17 asks, reluctant to take heed of his order. Symbol doesn't turn back in his direction. Cell is already speeding toward him. Lifting the insect-like wings behind him slightly, it gives out that unique buzzing sound as they fly and they bash together. From this first slam, Symbol is sent sliding back. He can also feel this stinging in his forearms. He has no clue what Cell has done, but he can tell he's gotten stronger. He steps back to evade a punch aimed at his head, then fires back with a punch himself. He also catches Cell again with a hook to his chin, followed by a swiveling kick to his heel. He whips his heel around and strikes him in the chin, knocking him aside a little. Overall, the kick doesn't amount to much. The two androids end up in this sort of power clash. They place their hands together and keep pushing at each other. At first, Symbol has the upper hand. It makes sense. He has a far larger, beefier physique. However, Cell is just stronger and let him have the upper hand there. He smiles right at the proper android, but then plants his feet and uses his real strength. He pushes as hard as he can and Symbol loses his footing. It's hard to stay up with such force pushing on his chest area. His feet slowly grind through the dirt, but he soon backs up and switches his tactics. Behind Symbol though, someone arrives, Bardock. 17 immediately looks hostile, but he lifts one hand slowly. Fragmenting his helmet, it really looks like he doesn't want any problems at all. I don't want to hurt any of you. We're on the same side. We have a common enemy. That's what the other guy was alluding to as well. What are you on about? 17 asks. That being the lighter green and slimmer one. He's called Cell and his goal is to absorb you two to achieve this perfect state of his that he claims. It will make him much stronger and kill you both, of course. If that happens, we're not sure if anyone survives, Bardock elaborates. Why should we believe you? My only way to convince you is to say that why in the world would we be doing this? I want you all dead since you want to kill my sons. However, it's not your fault that Dr. GERO made you the way you are, Bardock insists. That was a mad scientist. I will never do that to an innocent person. Even for the evil, I will change them into moral beings. not use them as vehicles to exact revenge. Ahead though, the fight is not going in Symbol's way. He's taking punch after punch, swing after swing. Bardock is watching patiently to see his time to step in there. Cell drives an upwards punch to his gut, dropping him to his knees. Symbol has infinite energy, but he's in great pain. His body can continue, but his mind isn't as sure. As he strugglingly raises, Bardock steps past him and pats him on his chest. "You've done well today. I can take it from here," he states, before placing on his helmet. He crouches slightly and waits with focus. He walks to the side and Cell slightly turns to stay watching him. Both don't let the other out of their sights. Bardock tries to use the art of surprise, firing a blast from his suit. The white golden blast fires off to Cell, but he smacks it away, then smiles. Leaping ahead, his knee crashes into Bardock's chest, knocking him down. Cell stands firm and Bardock grunts in pain. Slowly turning to get up with his hands, he then gets one foot down and raises. It's clear his base form will not cut it. Fragmenting his helmet, he reveals a blue-coloured sensu beam. This is something that Cell isn't aware of. He knows of sensu beams, but this slightly different colour throws him off. Dr. GERO was smart, innovative, however his brawness wasn't as great as mine, Bardock claims, chowing down on the beam. In the same moment, he fires up in a golden aura and enters his Super Saiyan form. An immediate 100 times boost to his strength is exactly what he needs right now. Crouching and placing up his mask, he sprints forward. Even without flight, the speed at which he can travel is insane. There are these repulsors around his suit that work to enhance his speed. It's hard for them to work omnidirectionally, but when he wants to travel in one direction, like forwards, they help a tremendous amount. The trail of dirt and dust lifts in his wake and he lands a snappy, powerful elbow. With the impetus from his sprint, Cell is properly launched back. Bardock snaps on him, throwing attacks with fury. Bardock was never trained by people like Master Roshi, Mr. Popo, and Corrin. This Earth style of martial arts he's totally unaware of. Therefore, the way he fights is very different to everyone else. It's with far more ruthlessness and aggression. Bardock grabs the bio-android's head and lands a headbutt before pulling it down to knee Cell in the face. Throwing it aside, he lands a powerful punch before stepping back. Now, after landing such a combination, Cell is desperate to land one of his own. As he charges forward, he runs straight into Bardock's trap. Lifting both arms, he releases two concentrated white beams of flames. The blue flames grow so hot that the air around them turns to plasma from the extreme heat. Even those around can feel just how hot these beams are. 17 and 18 have to back up quite a lot. He has no sense of pain, only a warning from his internal system. Cell lifts both hands, catching the beams, but he then feels them scorch through his skin and into his flesh. He grins in pain but can't even move out the way. The force with which they push him back means that he can't just swipe them away or anything of that sort. Pushing to the left as hard as he can, he throws himself to that side. However, he gets hit by one beam and is left with a terrible gash down the side of his face. Since it's so hot, the heat of the wound leaves him in even more pain. Cell tightens his fists and aims to storm forward, but he then feels himself getting pulled back. Bardock lifts into flight, using the servo systems in his suit to give him much better rotational speed. It makes him look like a ballerina in the sky, moving with grace and swiftness. Thin golden streams of energy wrap around Cell's wrists and stick themselves deep into the ground. Now he's left pretty much planted. He can't move in the slightest. Each tug doesn't have any significant effect. Bardock lands behind him, then flips over him. Landing in front, he slowly turns before launching a full power sound shockwave. The shockwave leaves Cell in a great deal of pain and he drops down to his knees. Soon he just lets his torso fall forward. His arms are left reached out and the strings wrapped around his wrists keep him from fully falling. Bardock slowly walks toward him before placing both of his arms together. His suit fused to form one barrel and his ultimate attack is forming. Cell can see this and looks confused at first. Of course he doesn't know what it is, however judging from the time it's taking to charge, he can tell nothing good will come of this. Soon he starts pulling at the strings on his wrist with everything he has. He even powers up, enveloping in a golden aura and pulling at them. However, he can see they're planted in the ground and goes for a different method. Placing both hands down, he grows two energy blasts. "No," Bardock shouts, thinking he's going to destroy the whole planet. Cell shouts and fires them, and the two blasts slam into the ground. Instead of immediately detonating, they drive through the floor and the surrounding area intensely quakes. It's terrifying for the people on the island. They have no clue what will happen. 17 and 18 fall to the floor and stay there just from how unsteady the ground is now. With Bardock's stability systems in his suit, he wouldn't fall, but his suit lets him know just what is happening. The suit is detecting increased instability from the ground. There could be a likely strong earthquake exceeding magnitude 5 in the vicinity. No humans nearby, so the human cost is bound to be extremely low. Send bots out for reconnaissance and resolution of the issue? No need, Bardock replies, now alarmed. Cell rips himself free, then jumps back, still facing Bardock. "No," he shouts yet again, blasting forward as fast as he can. With cells still aimed at him, he uses his solar flare to totally blind him. Vision assistance systems have been destroyed due to excessive light receipt. Bardock shouts in pain, breaking down his helmet to hold his eyes with one hand. With the other though, he launches his shockwave straight to Cell. The bio-android was a step from 17 but is left frozen from the powerful air attacking his ears and body. I won't let you, Bardock roars. Cell is unable to step forward, but 17 can't fall back. 18 isn't in the blast zone and rushes in, only to get caught in it as well. She grabs her own ears, shouting in pain. Cell reaches out with his hand but is still too far. 16 charges forward but Cell lifts and blasts him right in his head. He's taken away one of the core components of the android and leaves him dead. He slowly falls back, then he reaches with his tail. It's long enough. Latching onto the android, he absorbs him and releases such a bright light that Bardock falls back. This can't be. He can see now, but without the assistance of his suit, it's hard for him to see properly. Begin on-the-fly repairs. Use as much key as you need, Bardock orders, covering up his face again with his suit. As his suit repairs itself and as the light dims, Cell stands in his semi-perfect state. Symbol has already grabbed 18 and flown away as fast as he could. The only person left to face Cell is Bardock. This brings him memories back to his time fighting wars on planets. He'd slaughter the race and sometimes have his closest men fall or die, then he'd be left alone in the face of a seemingly insurmountable threat. All he can do is strap on his shield and continue. There's no backing out here. Come on, Cell, show me what you've got, he shouts. Back on the lookout, Vegeta has landed beside Nappa. The others aren't even talking to them anymore. Kakarot and Raditz are just preparing to enter the time chamber. As Mr. Popo directs them to its opening, Vegeta and Nappa speed past them, forcing themselves past in Super Saiyan and shutting the door behind them. Kakarot and Raditz are left out. Kakarot is stunned. He just leaves his hands on his head. How could they have been outdone like this? What have they done? Kakarot asks with fury. Your father requires assistance. Cell has absorbed one of the androids and has transformed, an insect bot says as it flies. Turning into a bright light source, it zooms off and the brotherly duo follow it. Bardock launches his shockwave and it does a little bit to Cell. He holds his hand up to block the main wave but still fires through it and headbutts Bardock to the floor. This hit leaves him disoriented and almost confused in a way. Cell drives down a stomp but Bardock rolls out the way and uses his trapping strings to wrap around his ankle and plant him to the ground. The ground is still quaking and even more unstable than before. The two get hit by large waves and flying water from the surrounding ocean. Even the island itself is unstable since there's a massive hole not too far below them now. Kakarot arrives in Golden Super Saiyan and lands an opening punch. Cell's head knocks aside and he lands a few punches to his torso only to see that they all do very little. As he aims to land another, Cell grabs his head and pulls it down. Striking with his knee, he snaps his nose in two and leaves it bleeding. With a slap straight to his ear, he bursts his eardrum and knocks him out in one explosive, brutal swing. Raditz takes over the fight, jumping down on him to try and knock him aside. Raditz has more weight and natural power so can do things like this, but it's ultimately futile. Cell is far larger than he is, so he can take the slam and not even take a step to keep his balance. Then he grabs Raditz right by his arm. Placing one hand on his forearm and the other higher up his arm, he pulls and snaps it. The Saiyan is left bellowing in pain and can barely stay up on his feet. Cell smiles upon seeing him in such pain. He doesn't even stop there and twists his arm around to cause the long head saying even more pain. Raditz tries to step back and free his arm but Cell walks forward. Upon doing so, he completely frees himself from the strings around his ankle like nothing was even there. Letting go, Raditz falls to his knees and receives a punch to his face to render him severely disoriented. Bardock, your assault showed a great deal of promise. You nearly had me, but the superior being always prevails. Remember that, Cell states. Lies. Bardock knows this for a fact. Frieza was the Emperor, even if Bardock hates to admit it due to his incredible talent. He had power that the Saiyans on Earth had to train hard for and unlock after so much life and death battles from just sitting around drinking wine and ordering people around. However, what they've learned is that those people aren't unstoppable. Hard to defeat, yes, but not unstoppable. Just as Cell aims to blast his head, Tien lands in front of him, the new android. Just what do you think you're going to do? Cell asks. Bardock was hoping he'd have gotten here before Cell achieved this state. They all stand no chance against him, so there's no way Tien can either. From how long it took him to get here, Bardock discerns that he's received one of his quicker, lighter android transformations. This means that he won't be anywhere near even their strength, let alone Cell's. Everyone back up now, Tien shouts, before aiming his hands forward. Now let's put this infinite life force to use, Tien whispers to himself, smirking. He then fires his new ultimate attack, the Neo Tri-Beam. Bardock's eyes light up upon feeling the ki from it. This is amazing. Cell is thrown right off his feet and smashes into the ground. Tien flies up and then begins firing them non-stop. Unlike in the canon, he feels no effect on his life force. He can continue almost forever, he believes. How is he doing that? How do these humans even come up with stuff like this? Kakarot asks. I must say, I'm a scientist, but when it comes to techniques like these, the humans have me beat, Bardock says, watching in awe. The Saiyans can't even believe what they're seeing as Tien continuously fires down tri-beam after tri-beam. With him now being an android, he could continue literally forever. Cell is not only getting pushed down here but also pummeled. Soon he falls so far that he enters the extremely hot opening that he created with his downward ki blast. Any human here would burn to death if they landed in this massive hole. The tri-beams continue firing down, but he manages to throw himself out the way to miss the main beam. Slowly walking back, he's left in this cloud of smoke from his own flesh being burned. He's covered in his own blood and even loses his footing from being so lightheaded. He falls to the ground and coughs out blood in pain. Tien continues firing from above but stops feeling a resistance. Once he stops, they wait for a few seconds and don't see Cell come out of the massive hole at all. Not only is there a triangular beam like before, but it also goes down extremely far. Water starts rushing in from the surrounding ocean, but they don't hear it hit the ground. Is he done? Raditz asks. Must be. He got literally roasted. I'd be surprised if he's still in one piece, Kakarot says, with his arms crossed. Bardock sends down one of his insect bots to check what's going on, but finds that they can't go down far enough since it's just so hot down there. All they can do is take their chances and say that Cell is gone. Now, they don't jump to any conclusions for now, but power down and rest. Tien lands beside them and Bardock goes right in to dap him up and sincerely thank him for his efforts. The fighters recongregate at the lookout to further discuss their plan. Now, the fate of Cell is inconclusive. It was impossible for them to discern his current state. For now, they can assume that he's been killed. However, the Saiyans and others that arrive here are terrified to find out that Vegeta and Nappa are now in the hyperbolic time chamber. Tien is actually going to be the main force for them now. The thing is, he isn't anywhere near as fast or strong as them physically. However, the others will fight alongside him in support role. Bardock remembers of doing this all the time in the past. When someone on their squad had a powerful technique or attack, the others would simply assist such person in properly delivering that attack. If they can work together to stop Tien from getting hurt, they can facilitate the use of his Neo Tri-Beam. Symbol has brought 18 along with him to Bardock's lab as a security measure. Bardock's lab can't be sensed by anyone from the outside, even someone like Cell. For now, they must wait for Vegeta and Nappa, and they can tell that they'll be coming out with the intention to fight and possibly kill. For now though, they can wait. It's almost another day before they exit, and so they can take this time to rejuvenate and rest. Their sons haven't really joined the fight yet, but Raditz Jr. and Gohan are both interested in fighting. They're with each other all the time and even spar from time to time. A whole day passes and Vegeta and Nappa don't exit. It's only after a whole 47.5 hours until they reveal themselves. Vegeta and Nappa have extremely tattered clothing but seem like new people entirely. They fly right off the lookout with immense speed, surveying the area. They look for any signature to latch onto and eventually find one. It's a strong one, but it's not one that they can recognize. Therefore they know it's not a Saiyan. Diving down, they land and arrive in a dim, dense forest. They don't know who this could possibly be at first, but then see an odd-looking creature. Its features they've never seen before, but from the head shape and face they can tell that it's Cell. Ah, Cell, I wasn't expecting to see you alive. I'm surprised the others couldn't have defeated you, Vegeta says. Stay back, Vegeta. Stay back now, Cell orders. However, Vegeta doesn't comply. Instead, he powers up into his Super Saiyan form. The transformation sends a tree toppling down and leaves Cell incredibly frightened. In the next moment, he sprints ahead to attack. Landing a strong hit to his chest, Cell slams through several trees before coming to a stop. Nappa then shrugs forward with long, powerful strides and lands an uppercut to launch him up through the trees. Flipping and flying upwards, Vegeta leaps up and strikes him again, knocking him even further up. The two continue in this manner, and it looks like they're playing ping pong with Cell subjected to the roll of the ball. Vegeta grabs one of his arms and swings him up to then let Nappa hit him down with a double axe handle. Now Cell lands back on the ground and isn't terribly hurt. He knows that he can fight back in at least some form, however this is not the extent to their abilities. Vegeta and Nappa land, then Cell pounces himself. Punching Vegeta square in his jaw, he follows up with an elbow. Nappa then throws two strong punches, but Cell can evade both before reaching for one of his legs and slamming him down. Nappa grunts in pain but then sweeps at Cell's legs and rolls away to rise back up. Upon doing this, Cell uses his solar flare to leave Nappa temporarily blinded, then throws an unrelenting vicious combination of punches and kicks. Nappa tries blocking them by just putting his arms out every now and again to predict, but it's useless. Cell can see his random movements and just aim for an area that he's left open. Vegeta comes in to stop this, grabbing onto one of his arms. It slows him down for a brief moment, but Cell just lifts him off his feet and chucks him. Vegeta rolls away, then Nappa steps back once his vision begins to improve. There's no use in you fighting me. I'll take you both down if I need to, Cell claims, looking at them both. They stand at both sides of him, so he has to keep turning between them so he doesn't fall victim to a surprise attack. You're far too naive, Cell. This is nowhere near our full power, Vegeta explains. Now, Cell has really had to try up until this point. Nappa and Vegeta are individually below him, but not by much. That means that when they're fighting him together, he has to give it his all. Just what could these annoying Saiyans be hiding? Vegeta crouches down slightly and begins to shout. Nappa does the same. They start charging their ki and the ground shakes from their power output. Their auras rage and flow around them chaotically. Cell steps back a lot so that they're both in their field of view. He just doesn't feel safe being closed in like that. After a bright release of light, the Saiyans stop and it doesn't look like they've changed very much. One thing that Cell does note though is lightning now crackling and swirling around. I present to you Super Saiyan 2 Cell, Vegeta shouts, lifting both hands. Cell's been given a lot of knowledge, but this he's totally unaware of. He doesn't know what to think and that unknown makes him scared. Scared? I'm not scared at all, he tells himself, beginning the fight. He aims for Nappa first. He felt that he was far slower than Vegeta and only marginally stronger. This means that he'd be an easier warrior to fight. Punching him, and with the impetus gained from flying, he's landed a strong hit. However, Nappa steps back slightly, mostly tanking him. Cell throws another, but he evades and hits him with a massive haymaker. Cell is left stunned, stumbling back a little. Before he can get a stable footing again, Vegeta knees him in his back, dropping him. We're not even here for you, Cell. However, I do want to get a little warm-up before we get to the Saiyans, Vegeta explains. No, wait, I'm not at my full power yet. If I find another android, I'll reach my full power. You want to defeat me when I'm not even at my full strength? Cell asks. Now this leaves Vegeta and Nappa intrigued. Their Saiyan minds are arrogant and battle-hungry. They can't wait to see what this full-powered form of Cells has in store for them. They're sure they'll still come out on top, but it might be a better fight. Therefore, they let him go and just wait to see what he can offer them. Soon, Cell sees Raditz and Kakarot on the ground besides a large, modern-looking home. This might lead him to something. Landing, he can see they were already getting ready to leave. They received word from Bardock's bots that something was happening and came outside to get ready to leave. However, who they see surprises and shocks them to their very cores. This guy again, he really didn't die, Kakarot realizes with surprise. We're going to need to get Tien, Raditz states. No, Cell says, landing. I don't need you to get Tien, I actually need something else from you. Go inside and get Android 18 for me, he orders. Raditz and Kakarot fall silent. They really don't want Cell to achieve his perfection. If he does, he will be unstoppable. There will be no going back. Tell me, Cell roars in Raditz's face. He doesn't budge. He's been in many life-threatening situations, Raditz. Standing up to a stronger foe isn't impossible, but to say he isn't scared would be a lie. He just knows that the very last thing he should do in this situation is back away and show fear. He powers up into his golden Super Saiyan form, just to make sure that he has a foundation. Even so, Cell punches him in his face, knocking him down. The power behind that shot leaves him dazed, unable to rise again. Then the bio-android turns back to grab Kakarot's arm and squeezes on it. He can feel the muscles underneath straining and squeezing together. Wait, he calls out. He gives in, he has no other choice. He walks into the lab to see Bardock working with Android 18 just sat next to him. They both seem unbothered once he enters, but Cell storms right in behind him. He looks around with haste to try and find his target. Run, Kakarot shouts to her before turning and blasting Cell right in the face. This doesn't hurt him, but throws up a cloud of smoke that can hide them away. 18 manages to slip past Cell who can't see her. He does catch a glimpse of her in this dense smoke cloud, but as he reaches for her, she's already slipped away. Bardock and Kakarot, the two Saiyans in the room currently, are in a very tough situation. They both power up, with Kakarot going into his golden Super Saiyan form and Bardock entering his own Super Saiyan form. Alongside this, Bardock lifts his arms and calls upon the parts of his suit to assemble. His helmet equips and they ready themselves. Instead of fighting, Cell turns and flies off. His mission isn't to kill Kakarot, it's to get 18 right now. 18 flies off, but Cell is faster and can still see her. Blasting off at top speed, he roars and puts everything into closing that gap. It does over time, and these two are crossing the earth at lightning pace. Cell manages to close that gap, reaching out his hand and grabbing onto her leg. He pulls her, then begins to violently spin before crashing into the ground below. He leaves a large dirt trail, and 18 just manages to escape as they roll. Reaching a decent distance away from him, 18 tries to escape. However, Cell isn't going to let her out of his sight. Leaping up, he takes a powerful stride to charge ahead. Just before he can reach her though, he's hit by a powerful blast that he knows all too well, the Neo Tri-Beam. It launches him off his feet and leaves a painful burn on the side of his arm. Looking up, he sees him, Tien. Shouting, he just gets hit by another, then another, then another. Tien continues firing them off, slowly descending to land so he can fire this blast horizontally. His job isn't just to hurt and kill Cell, but to keep him away from 18 now. "Run," Tien roars. Bardock lands next to 18 and launches a powerful shockwave from his suit. It's aimed at Cell and hits him, stunning him for a brief time. This gives Tien just the moment he needs to land another Neo Tri-Beam. It hits him and knocks him at least 100 meters away. However, he's not going down without a fight. Exploding with power, he lets out this massive wave of energy. A collection of wind and ki knocking back every single fighter in the area. Tien even gets flown back way further than the others since he's actually weaker than them. This is when Cell launches a barrage of ki blasts. This keeps the Sea Fighters occupied. While they're knocking them away as to not get hurt by them, he sprints past them. It's too late. He backhands Bardock aside and absorbs 18. When she's fully captured in his tail, Kakarot goes in to try and hit him. All he does is hit this translucent shield now cloaking him. He then kicks him, also to no avail. No, he thinks to himself, before Perfect Cell is revealed. He doesn't say a word, as he did in canon. He just checks out his new form, throwing some light punches to the air and stretching. Kakarot goes in to attack him again. This time he runs in and throws a jumping kick. It has power behind it but has no effect. Cell doesn't even look in his direction. He tanks the attack and acts like he wasn't even hit in the first place. Kakarot then swivels around and goes in for a heel kick with his left leg, but it's also futile. Cell doesn't take note of any of these attacks. Instead, he just backhands him, and with this single swing, Kakarot is knocked out. He slides across the terrain and stays totally frighteningly still. "Does anyone else want to get in my way?" Cell asks, still stretching his fingers. Bardock takes the shot first. Tien would be their best bet, but he's currently being held up by Raditz. He's grown weak after that explosive wave from Cell. He's almost a glass cannon. His attack power is phenomenal, but his body just can't keep up. Bardock's suit transforms and the arms combine. Finally, a chance to use his own attack. As it charges, it gains the attention of those around him. They've never really gotten to see this power in use, and they can tell it's powerful. They can hear his suit wearing up into high gears, and the light at the end of his arms is very bright. It looks like he's created his own star right there snugly in his palms. This attack places a heavy strain on him though. It eats away at his ki reserves. He can already feel the growing fatigue, but it's close to done. All Cell does is look straight at him. After achieving this form, his confidence has skyrocketed. Bardock plants his feet and grits his teeth. The blast is fully ready. "You'll wish you didn't let me finish this off," Bardock shouts, before closing his eyes. He holds his arms firm and the light from his arms grows so bright that Cell's smile fades. The white blast fires out the hole, knocking Bardock off his feet. It fires forward and hits Cell square in his chest. Nobody can even see this though, as the entire area lights up in a pure, intense white colour. The light dies down and he looks just as Cell did in canon after Vegeta's final flash. Bardock really did a number on him. From his upper torso and above, his body's been destroyed. He's left to stand there, twitching and stumbling, but he relies on his healing powers to return to normal. His upper half is restored to its original state and his true form is returned. He's covered in this odd, disgusting goo, but other than that, he looks fine. "Nice try, Sam, but it'll take a lot more than that to kill me. Sadly, you don't have what it takes to bring me down," Cell says, before charging forward. In the next moment, he drives his hand through his suit, then his chest and the other side of his suit in one swift motion. He breaks through the metal like paper and also leaves Bardock in great pain. However, he doesn't scream or moan. He's left stood there with blood coming out his mouth and nose. His eyes look still and weak, close to dead. Nice try. So that will conclude the fourth part to What If Bardock Was Like Dr. GERO. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.